we are live. Hello, welcome. So good to connect with you. It's Tuned Up Thursday with myself, Dawn L. And I have a fun topic that I want to connect with you guys on today. Just going to give a quick introduction. I want to first welcome all the new members to Embodied Empress Collective. It's so fun to have you here and get to welcome you and hopefully learn more about you. And hopefully I could, continue if you get to catch some of the old videos. But I am here to bring value and to share and to teach in this space. So welcome. So today I wanted to talk about 3 quick ways to grow your impact and sales as a spiritual entrepreneur. So if you're joining me live, say hello. I'd love to connect with you and see where you're joining from. And yeah, so say hi. So the first thing I want to say is that I am not your typical coach, because I don't believe in doing anything cookie cutter strategy. Like, that's just not the way I do it. Now, I do believe we have to have plans and ways that we're going to execute, because if you don't, then you're not going to move forward in your business. But that being said, the plans that should be of highest alignment for you should come from your heart and from your soul. But when you are going to scale your business, when you want to show up online, when you're ready to pour your heart into your next program and deliver this new program, the key with this is there's so many ways to go about this. There's so many different things, and you'll see online, and I am not trying to bag on what's happening in social media, but there's a lot of and I actually said, let me tell you 3 strategies today, or 3 things, but there's these guarantees and promises that you'll be at 6 figures or $1 million business and all these kind of things. And if you just follow this strategy, and it's not that simple. If you consider yourself to be somebody that's a little bit more rebellious and that doesn't always like to follow the rules and is a big thinker and likes to doesn't just believe in black or white, maybe a little gray, then you're in the right place. Because people that usually do best in those kind of follow this and you'll make this are the kids that really listened in school and want to be the good person and do the right things, and they're willing to try that for a little bit, and they might get success, but then they're going to find if they recreate it and they're not connected to the energy, it may not work out the same for them. So this isn't saying that won't work way, because there's an opportunity to learn some strategies and try some different things and see what lights you up inside. So that's the first thing that will really help you grow your impact and sales, is to let go of the outdated strategies. To really realize that if Mama Earth is going into this whole paradigm shift, right, with the collective consciousness, we're moving from 3D to 5D. We're moving from being really stuck and rooted in past and karma and all this kind of stuff, and we're going through this ascension process where we're being able to hold more light, have more light within the collective. And right now we're seeing a lot of chaos and a lot of different things, which is why spiritual entrepreneurs, light warriors, are needed now more than ever. Because as the ascension process goes, and how it's going to affect you with your business, is that everything that's out of alignment is going to pop up for you, so that you can see okay, this is standing in the way of me being in my greatness and brilliance. So if you're trying to just follow some strategy that promises instant success, it's not going to allow you to grow and be fluid with everything that's happening in the planet. Because when you step into 5D consciousness, it's really working from a place of magnetism. It's working from your soul frequency. It's knowing what your soul frequency is, right? And if you don't know what it is, it doesn't mean that you can't, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. That's one of the things I love to help people with, is what is the vibe of your soul? What are you sending out? What are you attracting in? What are the type of people that would absolutely bring you so much joy to work with? Because I believe that in any line of work, hopefully your clients or your patients or whoever you're serving inspire you just as much as you inspire them. I mean, that's like actually a prerequisite for me, like with my work. I want to like grow and learn from my, clients too, not just like a one-way street. So letting go of that old paradigm of like follow the leader. If I just do this, then I'm going to get that. Like that is so like, blinders. So what if there was a way, right, for you to start to access the soul frequency, get really in touch with your heart, learn some different strategies, and then figure out like, okay, this feels really aligned for me to show up in this way. And it's not this like persona. A lot of times, like in old business paradigm, it's like we have this persona, like when I show up at work, I'm going to be like more professional than I am in my personal life, or I'm going to be this way or that way. What if the opportunity that's on the table for everybody right now with moving into 5D consciousness is that the new strategy is to be your most authentic, amazing self, like really trusting in your brilliance, and that when you come from that place, what happens is work doesn't feel like work. You're not trying to like figure out like what people would want from you. Like, and what I mean by that is like if you're showing up on social media, well, I should say this because my ideal client wants to hear this. No, like, of course you want to know what your client's needs are, their issues and their problems, right? But you're not going to like tailor your message so that you can become a chameleon for yourself to make money off a certain type of group of people. That takes too much work, and it's not real, right? So if you were to actually, work with your client, you'll work with your client avatar, get to know what their needs are, what their difficulties in life are through, market research or through conversation or whatever, and then come from your heart and speak right to their soul. Because when you speak, heart to heart, soul to soul, however you want to say it, it's a felt experience. People can, they'll feel it in their body. There's a vibration. They're going to be like, yes, 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 yes. This person is speaking to me. They're in my head. Like, how do they know that this is the things that I'm dealing with? Okay. So part of like letting go of outdated strategy is to operate from soul strategy. And that means knowing thyself. You can't be like the best marketer or brand person or copy person if you're trying to speak in somebody else's voice. If you're not, like I was saying, like if you're trying to be a chameleon, like all those things are going to take you away from your own truth and the ability that you have to be like a pure transmission of energy. Okay. So when you think about like the soul strategy, I want you to think about like what lights you up inside, like what, makes your heart expand, feel joy. Like when you think about, I get to work with a client in this way. Like for me, like one of my favorite ways to work with my clients is like like in retreat settings, like getting to spend time with them, VIP days. Like I love doing that kind of stuff. It's super, super, super fun because I get to like be with them for a certain amount of time and really get to know them outside of like day-to-day life. And so figuring out the things that feel really good to you, and then finding ways to speak to that. Okay, so that is part of like the first thing. Like if you're going to make a big impact and make the sales that you want to make, you're going to be aligning with your most authentic self, which is your soul, and you're going to let go of these ways that you've been told to do business and really start to invite in the question to the divine of like, divine, show me what I'm supposed to be doing right now in my business, which will be really aligned and attract in my ideal client even more so than I'm already doing now. And part of, this new, like, I believe the new paradigm of where business is going is letting go of this, like, if you think about a soul, they're not just like female or male, okay? Like we are an essence, right? We have both essences within us. So this kind of like separation sometimes of like, well, my feminine is asking me to do this and my masculine is requiring me to do that, and all of that noise. I'm not saying there's not a place for it. What I am saying is allowing yourself to be in a state of trust with your soul that like if you need to be in your feminine, which is like receiving the intuitive guidance and directives for what you're going to be doing in your business, that you're in that state. And then you switch over into the male energy, which is action oriented. So you get the download, then you take action. Okay. So to me, part of the new soul strategy is sacred union within ourselves. Okay. So like we're really like dancing with the energy of like knowing when to, receive or take time, to be within ourselves, to not be so busy, so that we can be more in flow. And then other times when we're like, it's game time, I like got to get on it. I have this plan of that I want to execute, and I'm going to make sure each week I'm doing these things so that I can get the outcome and the results that I desire. Okay. And that are going to be aligned with divine will. So that's the first thing, is outdated strategy to soul strategy. That's the first thing that's going to shift your business like really quick, and you'll find that your communication will be so much easier when you come from this place. And it's really letting go of like what people think about you, and knowing that your tribe is out there. They're waiting for you. Like they're waiting for you to show up in your gifts and just talk to them heart to heart. Okay. The second is, when you're able to listen to your intuition. Your intuition is your internal compass. And, there's so many quotes, like Steve Jobs, I know, has an amazing quote about like listening to your intuition. I think Albert Einstein says, like, let your mind be a servant to your intuition. It's so important that we're not just operating from our logic, okay? Because our knowledge is fantastic. We need to have knowledge. But what I'm talking about, like when I say intuition, is wisdom. And wisdom is much different than just like reading something in a book or learning something from somebody and going, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's literally this ability to trust your physical vessel. So we're talking about embodiment, that your body is going to respond to different environments, to different situations, to different clients, to everything, right? Because you are a vessel that feels and receives. And if you know how to ignite that ability to turn that on and really pay attention, then what you're going to find is wisdom is going to come to you when you least expect it. So what I mean by that, there's so many times in business as a spiritual entrepreneur that you're not going to have the answers, right? We don't always know what the hell we're doing. And in those, we can call it like the dark time. Like you're in the darkness, you're in like a dark room, let's just say, and you're looking for the light switch. Like, where's the light? Like, where's my next step? Where's my information that I need to move forward? How do I address this person? How do I, show up in my leadership abilities? Most of us, if we're in a dark room, the first thing we're going to do is just like, we're going to rush to find that light switch. But what if instead you trusted the darkness? Now, I'm not talking about evil. I'm talking about like you don't have the answers. You can't see your next step. That's what I'm talking about. And you wait and you pause until that feeling of inadequacy or not knowing starts to shift, and all of a sudden the resources start becoming available to you because you are in a divine dance with God, the universe, right? With everything around you, and you've already put out the question or the signal of like, I need help with this. And you wait, and the resources come into a state of wisdom. And then because you because you're trusting yourself, you're trusting that your body is going to deliver, you're trusting that life is going to deliver the answers for you. And that is wisdom within yourself. That is not necessarily looking outside of you and, going to, have you ever been in that situation? I used to do this all the time when I was younger, like where I would have a problem and I'd go talk to like 5 of my closest friends and be like, what do you think about this? What do you think? What do you think? And I like kind of gather their information and be like, okay, what's my next step? And now, like when I have something that I require wisdom on or understanding, so I know how to make my next step and my next big move, my next big leap into who I am, I go within and I listen to my intuition. and I give it time to show me what's next. I don't expect it to be like a quick boom answer. Sometimes things need to be lived into, okay? So intuition, if you learn how to harness it, fine tune it, it is going to shift how you show up in your client sessions. Because instead of feeling like you always have to have the answers, you know, to like every single thing that's going to happen, you're going to allow yourself to feel and to be present with that person and access your internal wisdom. So it takes you into a different level of mastery as a coach, as a healer, and as a leader. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're a therapist, if you're a doctor, you know, whatever it is, it helps give you that space within to come to the edge and meet there with that information. Because most of us, when we don't feel like we know the answers, either we're going to busy ourselves and distract ourselves, or we're going to look outside of ourselves for it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't like gain more knowledge outside of yourself and read books and all that kind of stuff. That's not what this conversation is about, right? It's really about trusting that you have a wealth of wisdom within yourself, and it's just about learning how to tap into it. So that's the second piece. So we're moving away from outdated strategies, moving to soul strategies. We're moving away from just being in the mind and thinking, okay, I have to do this way, to really accessing our intuition and getting weird, like honestly. And I say that kind of silly, but like I'm being silly, I should say. But sometimes some of the things I do or I want to say, like it's weird. Like I wrote like one of my posts last week, I had this like download come through, or this inspiration, you can call it. And it said, and I wanted to write a letter to like Normal, like, dear Normal, I'm breaking up with you. And I was like, this is ridiculous. But I wrote it and I did it anyways, because that's something that like is from my heart to your heart, you know? And so it was an intuition that I needed to say that, because my tribe is looking for their permission slip to not always have to fit into normal and do everything, you know, from A to Z a certain way, okay? And the last piece right now that I really feel that's going to help, you know, with your impact and sales is, and if you guys are listening live, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like I know there's some of you on that are on live right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, like how this is driving for you. Are you using your intuition in your business? Are you using it in your life? My beautiful VIP client said to me today, as a matter of fact, I want to share this. She said, I'm afraid that if I tap too much into my intuition, I won't be able to like, I'll get lost in it a little bit. Or I won't be able to like stay on path and, you know, with all the things I have to do. And I just thought it was so funny, because that to me is, you know, when we kind of broke it down, was she's gotten so used to, you know, being busy and having a schedule and following it, that to take a little time to, we were talking about journaling every morning to receive information from her future self, that felt like she was not wasting time, but like it was going to take her away from everything. And I was like, no, actually, like the more that you give yourself the time and opportunity to like really receive, the more like space and time, like that's just a concept anyways, right? But like we bend space and time, because we're operating then from our highest self versus like our ego, and our ego telling us like, go do this to stay busy, go, you know, have this conversation with this person because it's, you know, important, you know, to make that sale. But what if you checked in and maybe you got the same information, but you got even more of a hit, some more information that would really connect you to like that conversation that you're supposed to have. So it's just interesting how right now in our society, because we're coming from this like hustle, patriarchal energy, the old paradigm, that we think that's, you know, taking time out and listening to our intuition and making space for it might be, you know, waste of time, and it's not. And she didn't think it was, but it was just like she's so used to being so structured and regimented. So I encourage you guys, if you're feeling like wherever you're at with your intuition, within your business, within your life, to make sacred time, like have a holy hour in the mornings where you're creating and carving out time to really go within, okay? So the last piece to really scale like your impact in sales is kind of different than maybe what other people would say, but this is what I truly believe right now, is having inner resiliency. Inner resiliency. Because right now, there's so much happening externally that it would be so easy to get lost in all the stories. And what you're going to find is that people that are resilient have done the work on themselves, and we're always a work in progress, always. But they're going to know like their trauma patterns for the most part. They're going to know like their wounds. They're going to know how to kind of work through some of their triggers. And you would think like, why is that important in business? Well, anytime we're serving people, we want to like scale up to the next level of leadership. We want to make more money. We want to receive more. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, we have to know ourselves so well, because what happens a lot of times, I've seen this so many times when I coach women in their businesses, you know, these spiritual entrepreneurs, they're so excited, they're so ready, like they're, you know, they have this beautiful like, you know, program that they want to bring out to the world. And then what happens is, let's just say they put it out and maybe they don't get as many like callbacks or like messages on their, you know, Facebook after they put a call to action or something. And all of a sudden they start to like go into, well, I'm not good enough, or maybe what I'm doing, maybe people don't want this. And there's always ways we can tweak, right? That's not what I'm talking about though. I'm talking about your attachment pattern. Like what you do when things aren't going right for you, when you don't feel grounded within. And this goes back to like trauma patterning. So to me, part of being a really successful entrepreneur right now is learning how to create safety within your body so you can hold space for all your creations and have the intuition to know like when it's ready to go out to the world, to take, you know, that next step and execute all that kind of stuff. Because otherwise, if you don't have a sense of inner resiliency and a connection to, you know, a space of grounding within, it'd be easy to get lost and just kind of be like, I'm floating based on like what people think of me. I'm responsive to the validation that I receive. I'm only going to show up if I feel validated. I'm going to get the dopamine hits when I see that my posts are getting liked. I'm going to, you know, feel good about myself when I get a lot of, you know, people responding on my Facebook lives, or when whatever line of work you're in. I'm speaking from my coaching stuff, but that operating from that place is going to be a path of where you could be sabotaged very easily, because your mission, and you know, this is something that like when I work with women in my programs when they're launching their soul business, you know, soul inspired businesses, because it's coming from their soul. It doesn't have to be a soul, you know, a healing business. They have to be connected to their divine mission, their blueprint. Like what is, and it could change over time, but like why are you doing this now? Like what about this makes you feel of service? Like how do you want to serve the world? How do you want to serve humanity? What's the mark and the legacy that you want to leave on this planet for your children, for your clients, for the people you interact with? Some people have huge missions. I've worked with some women that like their missions bring tears to my eyes. And others are so beautiful because it's more simple. It doesn't matter. It's just that you hold that dear in your heart, so that when you get beaten down in the roller coaster of being an entrepreneur, you don't give up. You have the inner resiliency to push through, to ground yourself, to take some time and go into meditation or contemplation, like having those tools within to ground and to look at the patterns. You know, this is like one of my favorite things when I'm coaching, is be like, okay, this pattern is showing up. Like this isn't just showing up in your workplace. This is, you know, we are beings that hopefully if you're doing life right, you're not just showing up compartmentalized in one aspect of your life. You're showing up the same way in a lot of different aspects. And so you'll be able to see the patterns that are blocking you from growing and expansion because of fear. And so if you're able to see those things, then you're able to address the resistance and the sabotage that's showing up in your life. So being a spiritual entrepreneur, when you put that call out for your sales, whether it's a product or a program or whatever it may be, if you don't get the initial results that you want, you don't go back and be like, they don't like me and they don't want this and oh my God and all these things. You say, you go into your tools, your intuition, you go into meditation, you go into receiving. Divine, higher power, whatever you want to go, what could I be doing different in this situation so that I could thrive with my sales and fill this program and serve for my soul even more so than I'm doing now? And wait and listen and see what comes through. Get the information, let life show you, and maybe have a conversation with an amazing colleague or your mentor or your coach, and they tell you like something, and it's like a direct answer to your question, even though they don't realize it. I love how when life works like that, right? And then you take the action because you have resiliency. You trust your path. Part of being an entrepreneur is that you have decided to like burn the boats. There's that saying, burn the boats. And it's not so much, it could sound however to you, but like burning the boats means you're not going to give up. You're not going to just like shut down because things didn't go right the first time. In my, journey in entrepreneurship, I've so that kind of funny, entrepreneurship. I've had a lot of ups and downs, just like anybody. And I've had programs that I thought everybody would just love, like, not, the first time I maybe put it out, like it didn't have the response. And I was like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me figure this out. Let me repurpose this. Let me do this. Like, you have to be flexible. You have to be fluid. You cannot be so tight with your energy that you're not willing to see that some of the setbacks or something that you even may consider a failure is really just an opportunity to redirect. And so those are 3 ways right now, stepping into this new paradigm, moving into 5D consciousness, that you can operate as a spiritual entrepreneur and really, really, really grow your impact and your sales, because you're going to be coming from a different space within. You're going to be like a channel. You're going to be trusting, why you're here, what your soul frequency is, how you're going to show up in your authenticity and your gifts. You're going to allow your intuition to work very well with your knowledge and really turn that into wisdom. And you're going to have the inner resiliency to see things through and continue so that you start to thrive, because this is a game of consistency. If you want to learn more about any of these things, I am currently, right now, I have a program that I'm opening up later this month. I've run it before. It's my Soul and Business Accelerator called Empress Empire. I'm just doing a small, intimate group of women to take you through, because I have a feeling there's a lot of you that are ready to step into 2021. God, sounds so crazy saying that. With your business going, like you don't want to wait anymore. You've been feeling the call. You're a light warrior. You're here to serve and to help other people, and it's time. And so my way that I want to serve is that I want to help women get their program and launched and going, like really step into this container with you, review your business, see where it's at, help you like make some adjustments maybe to your pricing and what your offers are, and then create a signature program or your like divine design program that feels really like good, that's like lit up from your soul right now, and help you launch that so that when you come into January, it's already a plan. It's not like an idea. It's not like a thought, like you're going to start the new year in this business, like doing the thing that you want to be doing, aligned with your soul. So if this resonates for you, I would love for you to message me. Just direct message me. I'll send you the link to all the program details. Like I said, it's going to be a small group because I really want to have some like hands-on and really cultivate a unique experience for the group, because I really feel like this is something that is so needed and so important right now in the collective, that we have more people out there aligned with their gifts, bringing in this 5D consciousness. It was such a pleasure. If you guys have any questions about what I spoke about, I'd love to hear. So please, if you're listening to the replay, hashtag replay, message me, like I said, for details for Empress Empire. That's what the program is called. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. Take care.